I don't even think that I need to say that the crypto market is going crazy anymore, because we could just clearly see that. Look at it. Just look at the hourly, the daily, and even the weekly. This isn't just a ripple, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tsunami of green, washing over the entire digital landscape. In the last hour alone, XLM is up a staggering 11%. XRP, the sleeping giant, is stirring, already up 3.1%. Algo, 3.8%. QNT, a solid 3.8% gain. HBAR, charging ahead at 4.5%. IOTA, surging with 4.1%. I mean, the crypto market, it's not just starting to wake up. It's roaring awake in a huge, undeniable way. And on the daily chart, we see XLM up 33+%. A colossal move. A lot of old coins are absolutely booming right now, exploding out of their consolidation patterns like coiled springs released into the stratosphere. And it's almost crazy to me that people are still not bullish enough. They're still sleeping on this. They're still waiting for a confirmation that's already here. But this is what the weekly looks like. XLM, closing in on a jaw-dropping 70% up in just 1 week. XRP, almost 30%. XDC, up an impressive 20%. HBAR, powering through with 32.2%. ALGO, a robust 31+%. This is not just exciting, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very exciting time to be a part of the crypto space. This is the moment we've been waiting for, the dawn of a new era of wealth transfer. And Bitcoin? Still hovering around $118,000. Like I said before, $120,000 is next for Bitcoin. I do believe with every fiber of my being that we get there by the end of this week. This isn't just a prediction, it's an inevitability driven by market mechanics. Ethereum, closing in on a monumental $3,000. Also up an incredible 18.2% on the weekly, opposed to the 9.1% that Bitcoin is up. We are still seeing that beautiful outperformance by Ethereum, which is exactly what we love to see. It's a sign of a healthy, diversifying bull market, and it's a green light for altcoins. And XRP has just been going crazy. Listen. We flipped Tether again in market cap. $168 billion. We were trading at $2.92 earlier today. We're trading at about roughly $2.84 right now. This is not just a pump. This is a reassertion of dominance, a powerful statement from a long-awaited beast. XLM. It's up 3 positions. It went from number 15 to number 12. I do think that Stellar is about to jump into the top 10. It's trading at about 40 cents right now. I mean, guys, the moves across the board are not just exciting to watch. They are historic. They are the kind of moves that change lives. HBAR, back to 20 cents. SUI, a monstrous $3.45. Still up 20+% on the weekly. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because SUI is a game changer. The overall market is red hot though, I will say this. And the big thing to focus on right now is to not get FOMO. Do not get too emotional here. Do not get extremely bullish to the point where you're just throwing money into old coins, because we are at 69 in terms of greed on the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Altcoin season is at 30 out of 100 on the Altcoin Season Index. So we're getting closer to that alt season-like movement. But remember, opportunities will arise again. And that's when we want to DCA, or buy more. We do not want to FOMO when things are up massively across the board. In fact, the best time to buy was when everyone was frustrated. And I said for weeks on END, I am extremely bullish. This is the time that you really want to start locking in and paying attention. I want to quickly interrupt the video just to let you guys know that now is the best time to lock in and jump into the free Discord. But if you guys want to get even more exclusive access, you guys can join the premium section for $99.99 a month. And I know that that sounds extremely expensive, but you're not just getting access to my updates. You're also getting access to Tokenizer's updates and a full team of individuals that are here to help you along the way throughout this cycle. There's a ton of updates in there. Access to my portfolio, access to trade updates, chart updates, weekly market breakdowns, mid-weekly market breakdowns, and so much more. So what are you guys waiting for? Join up in the free Discord down below. And if you guys want to get access to those exclusive updates, you guys are more than welcome to join the premium section as well. So, let's dive back on into the video. We're at almost 3.7 trillion for the market cap of crypto. We could see Bitcoin, we can see the entire market very green. Trading volume in the last 24 hours for Bitcoin closing in on $100 billion. Ethereum about $35 billion. XRP about $16.8 billion. And XLM, over $2 plus billion. We're going to talk about that, because I actually made a post earlier today. And I want to circle back to this because it's actually very interesting to see how much volume is pushed into XLM right now. But I want to talk a little bit about this huge week upcoming. Okay, we have a huge week ahead. This is from the executive director, Bo Hines. He said, "It's crypto week in the house." Genius heads to the president's desk. I do believe that that's going to be signed almost immediately. We already heard from Trump that he's going to sign that immediately. Clarity moves to the Senate. Time to make America the crypto capital of the world. The Clarity Act is supposed to be signed into law by the end of September. Guys, we are starting to see crypto not just making ripples, but making waves. Crypto is becoming one of the biggest things to focus on in and even outside of the US. We are about to go mainstream. Crypto is about to go insane. And altcoins and crypto is about to pump like crazy. Alt season is brewing behind the scenes. Bitcoin's already trading at all-time highs. Ethereum is starting to outperform Bitcoin. The environment could not be more bullish for crypto right now. On top of that, we are now hearing more talks about Jerome Powell resigning. Now, this is actually from the US Federal Housing. They're saying that I'm encouraged by reports that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. I think this will be the right direction for America and the economy will boom. Now, I would love for this to just happen because we have been hearing about Jerome Powell resigning now for I want to say like 3 or 4 months. Maybe I'm thinking about it a little bit too much, but we've been hearing about this for quite some time now. I would just love to see this happen already. But the main thing that I want to say is that there is a lot of pressure on Jerome Powell and the federal. The question is, does this force their hand? So far, it hasn't, right? Jerome Powell has been very resilient, and he has not cut rates at all this year. Right now, retail believes that there's only a 5.2% chance of a rate cut decision in July. I will say this, I do think that the probability of a rate cut happening in July is fairly low, but September. I do think that we get a major rate cut in September. Time is running out for the Fed to cut rates, and the environment is perfect for them to cut rates right now. The second that this actually happens, markets are going to boom in a huge way. I'm telling you guys right now, the Fed is going to make us rich. Believe it or not, they already started to make us rich. How do I know this? Well, because the markets are surging off of new, fresh liquidity. The M2 supply around the US has already started to expand. And I do think that this is only going to continue. We know it's only going to continue because it's been happening for decades now. Markets are running off of fresh liquidity right now. The stock market just made a new all-time high on Thursday. So, just yesterday. And today it was pretty, boring. Nothing too crazy. I do suspect that this is just going to continue to run to that 6,960 target. Right now we're just kind of, trading in a very boring fashion. We were doing this as well back here, back in the middle of June. Very boring. Nice little downtrend, and then boom. We could also have that downtrend happen here, where we kind of continue to range around like 62, maybe even drop down to this level that I've been talking about for a little bit of time. It's still a possibility before that big boom to 7K plus. The stock market's still going to boom this year. It's still going much higher. Reason why? Because the environment around the financial markets. Also, think about it like this. Stocks are more involved with crypto now than ever before. And while stocks continue to push higher, crypto will follow it. Just like crypto will follow the M2 supply, just like stocks will follow the M2 supply. Now, when it comes to XRP and XLM, like I was talking about earlier, right? XLM volume and XRP volume. Let me open these two up in a new tab. I just want to focus on these two real quick because it's actually very interesting to focus on these two projects real quick because of how much movement we've been seeing. So XRP trading volume $16, almost $16.5 billion. 170% almost changed in the last 24 hours as well. And then XLM trading volume up 238%. Almost $2 billion in trading volume in the last 24 hours. This was my post from earlier today at 11:41 a.m. I said, I love seeing both XRP and XLM pumping like crazy. XRP currently has over $12 billion in 24 hours. Okay, it was $12 billion at the time of this post. We're now at $16.5 billion roughly. XLM has over $1 billion. It was $1.15 billion. We're now at $2.06 billion. Both are up 30% in the last week. Yep. And also 60+%. We're at 60, almost 70%. This is just the beginning for altcoins too, which makes this even more bullish. Also, shout out to HBAR, Algo88, and many other altcoins going crazy at this time too. Yeah, this is just the beginning. Listen, we've been talking about Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance for quite some time, guys. Look at these old coin charts. I have these 4 open. XRP just retested on this major wick, and everyone thought that this sell-off was, it was just short positions getting liquidated. That's why we ran up, and now we're just going to come back down. Guys, we just retested on the weekly, one of the most significant resistance zones on this chart, since going back to this $2.47 level on the weekly. Which, by the way, was major resistance from May and also March. Guess what? We just made a higher high on this chart compared to the May highs and even the March highs. We have a higher low going off of the April bottom. This chart is extremely bullish. We now have bullish structure here. We can now flip bullish on XRP again for the first time since going all the way back here to January. Now the question is, how long does XRP take until it breaks over these February highs and retargets those January highs? I don't think that we have a very long time. So, if we get any major opportunity to buy XRP on a major sell-off, do not let it go to waste. This next move across the board for all coins is going to be very exciting to watch because it's going to be one of the most violent moves that we've seen since going back to 2021. And XLM is also printing extremely bullish price action. We have those higher lows very similar to XRP. And now we have higher highs going all the way back. I mean, we already cleared the February highs. We already cleared the May highs. The next stop is the January highs, followed by the November highs on XLM. It's a little bit of a different story compared to XRP because, back in November or December, actually, we cleared those highs in January. So the main things that we're actually focused on now with XRP is clearing the February highs and then the January highs. XLM though, guys, 40 cents. We tapped 40 cents. I think this thing continues on the weekly. There is a lot of resistance right around this 44-cent level. So we need to clear this resistance on the weekly. Get a close over it to really kind of confirm the next stop, which would be a weekly close over 56, almost 57 cents. These are the next 2 key areas, and they're going to be pretty challenging to actually break over. So watch for any significant rejection from these levels for a buy opportunity to form. HBAR also looks very good. Now, I have this one on the 3-day because the 3-day view is a little bit better. It really kind of gives us a better view of the lower trend line. We also have a higher low here. It's very shallow, but it's still a higher low. We have yet to actually create a higher high going off of the May highs, which tells us that we have a lot more room to grow on HBAR right now. That high is around roughly almost 23 cents. If we could break over the 23-cent level, next target on this chart would be about roughly 29 cents. After 29 cents, we mainly just target those highs from January and even December. And then I have this level up here. This is 42 cents. This is the all-time high, or sorry, it's actually just resistance on this chart. The all-time high up here is 56 cents, almost 57 cents. And let me just add that horizontal line, just so that we could go off of that one as well. So we have 4 targets here to actually look at with HBAR. The first one will be 23 cents almost, followed by 29 cents almost, followed by 42, and we could actually just drop this down because the next target would be just the previous highs. So we're talking about 40 cents and then 57 cents for HBAR. So tremendous upside potential here just from our current levels. Just to get back to the 40 level would be a 2x roughly. And then 60 cents, you're looking at a very good gain just going off of those targets. Because if we're talking about from our current level to just these previous highs, almost a 200% gain. So we love to see that. Now, outside of the HBAR/USD chart, the SUI chart. I've been following the SUI chart for quite some time. We could have one more rejection from this upper trend line, right? Because it has been very challenging to break over. We could reject, and then we could have a retest of $2.70 before we finally get that big break to the upside. It all depends on what happens next with Bitcoin, if I'm being honest, because Bitcoin dominance is still pretty high. I would love for us to just break out. Clear this high on the weekly, which is right around $4.30. And then the next target would just be all-time highs. And this goes back to December of 2024, $5.34 roughly. Those are the next targets here. When this goes into price discovery, it's going to be very exciting. I think SUI has that same sort of aura of Solana back in 2021. So the upside potential on SUI here, I think that we could easily 10x, get to $30+ on SUI. A lot of people will say that that's crazy because we actually look at SUI's market cap today. It's about roughly $12 billion. So a 10x from here would be about $120 billion. A lot of people will say that that's crazy, but we forget that Solana, at one point in time had over almost $200 billion in market cap tied to it. So when we think about that, if this is VC-backed, VCs will do everything in their power to pump SUI to new all-time highs, just like they did with Solana. So, I don't think that that's crazy. I still think that SUI is definitely a huge opportunity in the space to really kind of watch for. And even if we don't get a 10x, right, maybe we get a 5x, I'm fine with that as well because this is one of those, in my opinion, very hyped up projects that has a lot of money behind it, a lot of people focused on it. I think that this one will move violently along with the pack. So right now, altcoins looking very good. I think that the Fed is warming up to rate cuts. They usually do in the second half of the year. So we're right there. Environment is red hot. We're in crypto week, and the market could not be more bullish. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.